This is Joe Wayne with the AntiCoIntelPro show, and today we are going to be discussing the intrinsic value of silver and just exactly how you are going to be able to use the intrinsic value of silver to save your life and also save your wealth from the eventuality of the impending economic collapse. And trust me, folks, it is right around the corner. Just a few days ago, I made a video on the Jade Helm 15 exercise that are going on, and it is going to be the largest military exercise on U.S. soil in history. So, getting back to the intrinsic value, and when I made this video pertaining to the Jade Helm 15 exercises, I, of course, had to delineate the asset of having silver before, during, and after the economic collapse. And, of course, as I always do, and if you ever watch any silver videos, silver stacking videos, silver investment videos, and one thing that I have to go ahead and let everyone know, folks, I'm disabled. I am on a very limited income. I have never asked for one thin dime of donation to make these videos. I am not making one red cent off of these videos or off the recommendations that I am making pertaining to silver. That being said, I have gotten so many of the Federal Reserve tool agents that cannot see the forest for the trees of the impending collapse. And one thing they always say, folks, is silver and gold does not have any intrinsic value. They want to play semantics. They would like to split hairs and then split those hairs and play word games, okay? Because they're trying to steer you away from protecting yourself for the main reason to give the globalists, the Federal Reserve agents, and all of those politicians and mainstream media personalities that have lied to you and have forced us into a collapse by spending us into infinity. Well, the word games are going to stop here. First and foremost, folks, I am going to show you the literal definition of intrinsic. And this comes from the Merriam-Webster dictionary, which goes back a pretty long time. It's a very well-established dictionary. Intrinsic, number 1, A, belonging to the essential nature or constitution of a thing, i.e., here is one of their examples, the intrinsic worth of a gem, just like the intrinsic worth of a precious metal, i.e., gold or silver, or platinum or palladium. 1B, being or related to a semiconductor, in which the concentration of charge carriers is characteristic of the material itself inside the content of any impurities it contains. 2, originating or due to causes within a body, organ, or part of an intrinsic metabolic disease. 2B, or not to be, originating and included wholly within an organ or part, i.e. intrinsic muscles. So now that we have the very literal definition of what intrinsic is, I'm pretty sure that in the very first definition of intrinsic, 1A, that it refers to and makes an example of the intrinsic worth of a rare material. So now that we have established that gold and silver has an intrinsic value, let's go ahead and look at what gives silver specifically, since that's what I have recommended, what gives that rare metal very well defined intrinsic value within our society. Let's look at the very many uses of silver. Of course, you have the uses for jewelry and for tableware. And let's go into the reason why tableware was first made with silver. Back in the old days, back in the 1800s and early 1900s, they would actually, before refrigeration, and I guess they learned this via trial and error, they would actually use a silver dollar, and they would throw that silver dollar, or place it, or however they got it there, within their milk jugs to save it from going bad. And the reason that silver saves items from going bad is because it kills all bad bacteria, okay? And the way that it kills all bad bacteria is it depletes the bad bacteria. And there's good bacteria in your body and there's bad bacteria. The good bacteria is aerobic, and that basically means that it doesn't need oxygen to live or to multiply. And that an example of that good bacteria is the flora in your gut that helps your digestive system work. So that's why silver was first used in the old days in silverware. But you also have uses for insulation and energy reduction. Silver is used in alternative energy. Silver paste is used in 90% of all crystalline silicon photovoltaic cells, solar cells for solar panels, photography. And also going back to the reason and one of the uses of silver as an antibiotic, I'm sure you've all heard of silver cyberdine solution for burns. The reason they use silver cyberdine solution in burn ointment is because it stops infection from setting in, i.e. bad bacteria, okay? It's also used in water purification for that very reason. The automotive industry uses over 36 million ounces of silver per year in things like alternators. And the reason that the automotive industry, and not only the automotive industry, but the computer industry, use silver so much in computers and electronics, it is used in circuitry, in constructing circuits, is because it is the number one conductor of electricity. It even conducts electricity better than gold or any other material. That's why it is used in electronics. So those are the uses. Now, the reason that silver is going to be able to literally save your life during an economic collapse is because you're not going to be able to get to a doctor's. Those doctors are going to be at their own houses trying to take care of their own families, as well as the police. And a large part of the military that are non-combat are going to be at their own homes protecting their own families. So let's say you get an infection and you don't have any big pharma pharmaceuticals, which are known to be toxic and actually kill people by the millions. What you will use is the same thing that I use now. I haven't went to the doctor. I haven't had a cold or the flu for almost 15 years now. What I use is colloidal silver. I make my own colloidal silver using 2.999 fine silver bars. And one example of how well this colloidal silver works. I'm sure you have all heard of the canine flu that has swept through Chicago and across the nation. Well, I have a little cat here that is currently on the mend. He got the dog flu, which cats can also get, here in Texas. I realized that he had the flu about 3 days after he contracted it. I immediately didn't take him to the vet to get a flu vaccine because if you all do not know this already, let me inform you that not one flu vaccine for human beings or animals have ever been effective. That is simply because they have to guess what the strain is going to be before it gets here, and they have never been right one single time. So knowing this, the flu vaccine is going to be ineffective. Not only that, but if you get it, you are going to be introducing a flu virus into your body that is not currently there. So what I did is I put colloidal silver water in his food, and I put colloidal silver water in his water. Within 2 days of doing this, folks, he has almost completely beat the flu virus without a vaccination. Okay, so If you find yourself during the economic collapse and you don't have any medicine, well, you can use natural medicines, i.e. turmeric, which kills all viruses. If you get food poisoning, you make a little turmeric tea with a teaspoon of turmeric in water with maybe a dash of Splenda for flavoring because it is rather earthy tasting. Then you add a few grinds of the pepper grinder, the organic pepper grinder, and you grind some organic pepper in that. And what that's going to do, the pepper, is a MOIA inhibitor, which will help your body absorb the most of that turmeric that it can. And within 5 or 10 minutes of drinking the solution, you won't have any more food poisoning, folks. I can speak from experience, and I do. So, as an investment, as the dollar is continuing to go down, I mean, nobody wants to take the dollar anymore. The Chinese have spent the last 2 years doing what? Well, let me tell you what. They have been spending all of their US dollars and purchasing with that fake money, real money, i.e. gold. China has spent the last 2 years purchasing all of the newly mined gold for the last 2 years in the entire world with fake US dollars. So as the Fed in their QE to infinity keeps going on, they keep printing dollars. And as they print more and more and more dollars, what's going to happen? Well, the law of economics, the law of supply and demand. The more you have, the less it is worth. That is why your groceries keep buying less and less and less every day. It's costing you more of those fake US fiat dollars to purchase the same amount of groceries that you bought the week and the month before. But what's going to happen to silver, folks? As soon as the mainstream media, the mainstream puppet media, and the fiat Fed starts to let everyone know, or as soon as they can't hide the fact that the dollar is imploding, what's going to happen to silver and gold? They're going to skyrocket in value. As soon as the general public realizes what's going on, at that point that the mainstream puppet media starts to talk about it, well, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be able to protect yourself because you're not going to be able to find any silver because the big boys would have bought it up by then. So the impending dollar collapse and the many benefits of silver, but primarily the benefit you will have from collecting silver right now. And you send me an email and I will send you an email back. Or maybe later on, I'll make a video on how to make your own colloidal silver using 5 or 6 9-volt batteries in series and 2.999 bars of fine silver. Okay? And you can make gallons and gallons and gallons of this yourself rather than buy a $30 ounce of it or 2-ounce jar of it from InfoWars or anybody else. You can make gallons of it and gallons and gallons of it for pennies on the dollar, for just pennies on the dollar. So I hope this message has not fallen on deaf ears. I hope that you all receive the information. If you find any tools out there that try to tell you that silver does not have or gold does not have intrinsic value, well, just on silver, you can let them watch this video. And for any of you tools out there that want to talk smack about what the meaning of a very real Webster dictionary definition of an intrinsic. So it does have value, and it will not only save your life, but it will save and preserve your wealth going forward after the collapse. This is Joe Wayne with the AntiCoIntelPro Show. Good day.